Good afternoon. Welcome to Dino, American Foreign in the Philippines YouTube channel. Thanks for joining my channel. 371 subscribers, so a big shout out to my latest subscribers helping us grow the channel. So today we're going to make something called hash, which is an American favorite, especially for breakfast. Usually it's made with like beef roast or roast beef. Use it for is breakfast. We'll cook that, a couple of fried eggs, some toast. We're good to go. Alright, so stay tuned and watch this recipe. Thank you. Hash is one of the simplest things to make after you get your roast beef cooked, or today we're going to use ground beef, which makes it even easier. So we have everybody here at the party except for an onion. I don't have any onions today, I'm sorry. Onion would go in this, the garlic, and the potato, and the ground beef. Some salt, some pepper for seasoning, and then when all that, and a beef cube of course. And then when we get done with all that, then we would add our cornstarch to it, stir it up real good so that it gets mixed in well. Put some water in there and bring that water up to a boil. It'll start thickening up into a gravy. So I have a potato here that's already diced. I have a potato here that is peeled with my fancy peeler. So let's get this started. You want to dice up the potato. So what I'm going to do here with dicing the potatoes, I'm going to take this, and I hope you can see it, pierce the potato at the end and just come straight down with your French knife. Like that. Come down. Turn it on its side. Do the same thing. Now back in the US, I used to have what's called a French fry cutter. So I just put the potato in there and bang it down and make like French fries and dice them up that way. Alright, so we're done with that part. We want to cut them not too thick because we want it to cook with the ground beef. You just need small pieces of potato in there. Maybe an eighth to quarter-inch thick. A couple of runaways there. Get them back. And just keep slicing your potato until you're finished with that. I promise the potato will not get down in the mush. Alright, and that's all finished there. Now, we have some pieces that are a little bit bigger. That's fine. Just make sure it's all cooked before you start turning it into a gravy. So for this one here, we're just going to basically do like this. A couple of slices on it. And then we can just dice it this way. Then you got your garlic. If you had onion, then you would peel the onion, slice it, make it diced, small pieces. You got your garlic, what I'm doing right now. Slice both ends off, then that peel comes right off of there. Nice and easy peasy. Again, I always like to cut my garlic in half, that way I have a flat side to lay it on. So it doesn't go rolling around on me when I'm dicing my garlic. This is very simple, very easy to do. 20, maybe 30 minutes tops. You, like I said before, mash over the top of mashed potatoes, over a bed of rice, even with some macaroni and elbow macaroni. Our favorite in the US we use, like I said again, is a breakfast item. We make it, we fry a couple of eggs, get a couple of slices of toast out there, some orange juice maybe, you know, and we're good to go. It's delicious. Alright, so next up is going to be the cooking it. So we have like a 90% ground beef here, so I'm going to put a little oil in the pan so it doesn't stick. Yes, it's a non-stick pan, but let's just make sure. Plus you have the potatoes too. So we're going to start our stove on kind of a low temperature here. We don't want it to cook too fast, otherwise the potatoes won't get finished. Get that warming up. So let's put our potatoes in here first. them start cooking just a little bit to make sure they're done when the ground beef is finished. Get that in the middle, if possible. Kind of flatten them out, because if you don't flatten them out, then only the bottom ones will cook. Like that. I'm going to season these a little salt and pepper. Hopefully it's only a little salt. There we go. A little pepper in here. That quick stir. Put a lid on there so it kind of steams or bakes. And we'll get back to it when we put the meat in. We're almost finished, about halfway through actually. So the potatoes have been simmering for about 5 or 6 minutes. Let's test them, see how they are. So here's a big piece, let's check it first. Okay, so fork goes through medium easy. You don't want them like mashed potatoes. Smaller ones, of course, can be cooked a little bit more like that. That one's almost completely done. So we're finished with that part. Fire on low again. You just want things to simmer, you don't want them to burn. I'm going to use a beef cube in here, actually only half because there's not that much meat and potato. That in there. Throw our meat in. Let's get that mashed up with a fork a little bit. Careful not to scratch your non-stick pan. I usually have a fit if somebody uses a knife in here. Alright, that should be good enough. Because the oil and then the flavor from the ground beef will help stir that in also. Just dump our ground beef in here. Give that a little stir. That'll help get that beef cube softened up and mixed in good. And put the lid back on here. That cooked down for a little bit. Add just a little bit more salt and pepper. Don't want it too salty, because that beef cube will cause it to be salty. When you get finished making your gravy in here, then what you can do is taste it and see if you think you need more salt and pepper in there. Always taste your food, each step. That way you know it's right and ready for the next step. A lot of people don't do that. They just throw shit in a pan, they stir it up, and okay, it's done. And it's not tasty. Anyway, so enough of that blathering. Alright, so let's give this a quick stir. You can see the ground beef cooking nicely here. Got some liquid in there. When we put the cornstarch in there, that'll help get rid of some of that liquid, which is the flavor. But that liquid is what helps the beef cube dissolve. So that's why we're giving this a stir. Let's give this a little taste and see how our... I can get a little taste here. See if we have enough salt and pepper in there. Good to me. Now we're ready for our cornstarch. The beef is done. Oh, let's check a potato here. This big one. Oh, that's getting pretty soft. I checked that bigger diced piece of potato. It's not quite ready yet. It's still a little bit crunchy. So probably another 4 minutes maybe. But it's tasting pretty good. Voila! So I believe all our potatoes are done already. The ground beef is starting to turn a little bit too cooked in here. But that'll be okay. And some of the Potatoes here got a little bit of a crunch going on, but this is all going to be in gravy, so it'll help reabsorb the juices. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and strain the grease off. We'll let that drain for about 5 or 6 minutes and put it back in the pan. Back at the cook stove again. Alright, so the meat and potatoes have drained enough, the excess oil. So we have a small fire here. I'm going to put that on there at first for starters. And then we're going to dump our meat and potato back in there like that. And as you can see, that's what I use to strain. It's not very big, so I don't cook a lot of large quantities of food. But it works well. So we're going to put some cornstarch in here. You want to douse this pretty good. Doing this, your gravy will not be lumpy because it's mixed in with the meat. That should be enough. Maybe just a little bit more. You can always thin it out by adding more water. Put cornstarch or flour and make a gravy. Notice that doing that, it goes on the top of the gravy, and then you have a hell of a time getting it stirred in because it just kind of clumps up. Just give this a quick stir here. Yes, again, I'm using my fork to flat side. Get the cornstarch mixed in with the meat good. As you can see, cornstarch is all mixed in good there. There's not going to be a lot of gravy to this because it's a hash. It's not a meat and gravy dish. So let's turn our fire up. Now that's all mixed in. We'll grab our trusty plastic spoon and the water, and we're going to start pouring some water in. And as we're pouring the water in, we're going to stir this up. I don't know if you can see it or not, but that water is turning white. That's from the cornstarch. So it's mixing in well. A little at a time, get it a good stir. Oops. Hopefully you don't throw the meat out of the pan like I did. Heat up on high. It's starting to turn into a gravy already, as you can see. So we want to make sure we stir it. We're going to cook this down for a couple of minutes. Give this a quick tasty poo. Give this a quick taste. That's very good. Yay. Some people might want a little more salt in there. But like I said, get over mashed potatoes or put it on your rice or just eat it for breakfast. So when you're at the table they're eating, you can just add a little more salt if you want. Once you add an ingredient, it's pretty difficult to take it out. So this is going to cook down for a couple of minutes, and we'll come back when it's ready. I'm going to call this done because, like I said, I'm going to put this on top of rice and some mashed potatoes maybe. Has still some gravy left. In the morning maybe I'll make a couple of slices of toast and slather it on top of the toast and eat it that way. So thanks for watching. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe, click the like button, leave a comment. Have a great day.